Today, we're going to talk about what is the best schedule really for optimal health or for weight loss. Should you be eating snacks? Should you be eating meals? Snacks in between or not? Let's get into it. Welcome everyone. Welcome to my very humble channel. Let's get into this concept of snacking versus eating just main meals. And of course, the fasting conversation. When I grew up, you always heard eat breakfast. You break the fast with a breakfast. Eat like a king. Is it eat like a king, like a peasant or pauper or something? And basically, as the day continues, you go smaller and smaller with your meal planning. And the idea is that why would you eat a big dinner if you're settling down to do nothing? And that is very sensible. When you eat large amounts of food too late, a lot of it does not digest. And this is a problem for those who've got leaky gut, because that really, trying to digest food that late, like a lot of steak, super late, is really, really difficult for not only stomach acid, your body's ability to break down food with stomach acid and protease and lipase, the fats, the proteins. We don't do the starches or sugars, but as the day continues, there's less of a requirement for caloric acids to break down food, so you're producing less of it. Also, stress will downregulate your stomach acid. The later that you eat food, the worse it is on your digestive system. And for those dealing with leaky gut, it is a complete nightmare to go and have all that meat late, or any food really too late. So what time is too late? Of course, eating after 6 p.m., this whole cortisol melatonin shift, right? Because you wake up to cortisol, it's going to get you going, and then as the day continues, there's a shift in the afternoon, and cortisol goes down, melatonin goes up. But now you're eating late. How are you going to have the equipment to digest food like cortisol? The cortisol rhythm is very important when it comes to optimal health. The gut wall has a hard time to seal when it's late. Stomach acids aren't being produced as much. Motility, which is the squeezing of everything down the pipes, goes down, and therefore food tends to putrefy. And when the food is putrefying in the stomach, a bacterial imbalance continues to manifest, and those gut wall holes don't seal. This is the reason why a lot of people might take up to a year to heal from leaky gut. There's like 8, and I'm guessing about 8 different moving parts that you need to seal the gut wall, and one of them is the timing of your meals according to the circadian rhythm. Super important. Again, do you eat like a king and then later in the day like a pauper? Yes and no. What I've learned by working with so many people with blood sugar dysregulation and chronic fatigue, histamine, inflammatory issues, weight issues, aging issues, it's the fact that people typically get up, they don't eat, and they'll slam a coffee down. Now, I should definitely do more coffee videos and break down the 15 different ways it's so bad for you on so many levels. But at the end of the day, you're getting up to a decent breakfast You don't have to over gouge yourself with a king size breakfast, but enough to tell the hypothalamus, pituitary, hey, I'm not starving. So we do not need to crank out over the amount of cortisol that you need to put your body into a balance as the day progresses. Often people will fast, which, as you guys know, I cannot stand the fasting frenetical, hyped trend, because it really, this trend and people pushing it, prey on people's desperation to lose weight. And that's a whole nother conversation about gluconeogenesis and the breaking down of amino acids in your immune system. But as the day continues, you start with a bigger breakfast. This is if you don't work out early in the morning. And everyone's schedule is different. So getting up to a breakfast. Now, if you are working out, you want to eat something very small. And something small can be 2 egg yolks or 2 ounces of ground beef, for example, with 2 tablespoons of fat, and then go to workout. But if we're not talking workouts, getting up to breakfast is very, very important. And then 3 hours later, you would eat again. But what you're eating is so small, it's negligible. Like I said, a couple of yolks, an ounce or 2 of ground beef, or an ounce of liver, or 2 ounces of liver. That's 2 fingers worth. That's 2 ounces, right? And that is not going to overwhelm the digestive tract. So we don't have to worry about this whole concept of, well, if I'm eating all day long, then it's very histamine responsive because I'm eating and eating. And no, the eating is very small. And this is to stabilize your blood sugar. So for those people who are trying to fast because they think they're going to get the results, check this out. When you fast, you're depriving your body of petrol if your body's a car, you're not getting the gasoline to drive the car. So the body has to go into the body factory and make its own energy. And of course, we know it does this through gluconeogenesis. This would not be a problem if you guys ever rested, but nobody rests anymore. People are go, 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 go. And that doesn't necessarily mean physically jumping around. It can even be mentally overly stimulated. So the blood sugar, when the brain is overly stimulated, so is the blood sugar. When you fast, the body's like, I need to stabilize the blood sugar. But now you're like this instead of this. You're supposed to titrate with your blood sugar. That is the reason why you start with the breakfast. That's a decent size. And the size is very unique to the individual, because some people think that 10 ounces is like a moderate amount of meat. No, my people. You don't need, especially with women, you don't need to go over 4.5 ounces of protein unless you literally require more protein because you are a very physically active woman. But most people that I talk to are not CrossFit, people doing CrossFit, which that would be very demanding on the muscular skeletal body. Most people who contact me are pretty average in nature. Now, I've worked with athletes and I've worked with people with illnesses and autoimmunity, but the average person, men, you don't need to go over 6 ounces of protein in a meal. If you're going over 6 ounces of protein, it's because your fats are always too low. And because women tend to have more gallbladder issues than men, why are men not just slamming down the fat? Now, I get this question all the time, aren't I going to get fat on fat? No, you don't get fat eating fat. It's hormones that make you fat, so get your hormones fixed so when you do eat fat, you don't have to worry about anything except getting fat into the dermis layers, keeping you young and funky and fresh. But some people will snack all day long, and some people will just eat big meals. And the real answer is to eat a breakfast, then a mid-morning snack, then a lunch, then an afternoon snack, and then a dinner, and be done. And this is only to stabilize the blood sugar. So when you do this whole need for so much protein goes down exponentially because you're snacking on fatty meats. You could do like pork belly bacon, for example, or egg yolks. Anything that's a fatty meat is amazing to stabilize the blood sugar without overwhelming the digestive tract. Now, some people might even need to add a third snack because of either second shift worker or night shift worker, and or they have hypoglycemia so bad that they're waking up a lot in the middle of the night, and so eating a small snack before you go to bed by like 40 minutes, let's say a carnivore latte, and that would be egg yolks and a hot glass of water with potential grass-fed cream, butter, little cinnamon, Ceylon, maybe some cacao butter, mix, dash of salt, and this is excuse me, the perfect night snack that is easy to digest because it's in a liquid form and it's very little, right? You could do a cup worth 40 minutes before bed, or you'd have an egg yolk. And I like egg yolks because they are packed with nutrition and they're very easy to digest, and they're not as high in protein, because we know that if we have too much protein too late towards bed, it spikes your blood sugar and wakes you up throughout the night. I know. Should you just snack all day long? Should you do a fat snack? Fat fasting snacking? No. Fatty meats are always going to digest more slowly and stabilize the blood sugar. Eating pure fat, the body is always going to do better. Protease is going to be created, which is a protein enzyme, when you're eating protein. We need to keep the stomach acids where they should be at to digest and keep the microbes in balance by having a fatty meat. You can't just eat fat all day long and expect to drive ketosis. If you use a glucometer and eat a fatty meat as snacks, like main meal, fatty meat with some fat, main meal, and so forth throughout the day in that schedule, and then check your blood sugar in comparison to just fat, you'll see that the blood sugar will stabilize a lot more easily when you're adding a fatty meat rather than just, I'm eating just tallow or I'm eating just butter. We don't want to just eat butter as a snack. Now, if that's the only thing you have, I'm not going to say no to that. But a little slice of pork belly or some ground beef, it's easier to digest in between your meals, perfect. Or some salmon, if you don't mind the sea being completely gutted with poison. So yes, we want to eat 3 meals, at least 2 snacks, and a third one if you're a second shift or third shift night worker, or have dysglycemia so bad where you're waking up several times in the middle of the night. Yes, snacks are not to feed you. They are always to stabilize blood sugar so you can make those ketones and reap the benefits of being in ketosis. If you want to learn more, go to stephanieperson.com and book a consultation. I've been doing this for a very long time, so if you're having any struggles with everything, doesn't matter if it's your thyroid, if you're on HRTs, if you have chronic fatigue, if you have fibromyalgia, if you've got reproductive issues, doesn't matter what it is. If you are trying to enhance yourself as an athlete and you are having a difficult time balancing your blood sugar, go to stephanieperson.com and book a consultation. You can also join my course, which is a $15 a month course where I cover all 3 diets, because some people just cannot be ketotic on a keto diet or a carnivore diet, so they have to start off with starches until their body can graduate. And signups for the course, or rather challenge, will be in January. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. I am 56 and soon on my way to 57, and I got some energy. And life is good, even though sometimes I'm like, what the frack are they doing to us? Gotta stay positive. Peace.